a fresh approach to the tradition of wearing the rakusu. So, at Appamada, we do sell rakusus. And following our Soto Zen tradition, we do have a formal jukai ceremony where each person formally receives the rakusu that they've sewed with its calligraphy on the back, lineage papers, and their new Dharma name. And then, in that ceremony, they return their rakusu to the community for 1 year. During that year, it joins the other rakusus on a rack near the entrance to the zendo. Anyone who has completed the precepts program, who has been through the precepts completion ceremony, or jukai to formally take the precepts, simply takes any rakusu from the rack and wears it for that day. In this way, it is not a badge of personal distinction or attainment, and so does not tend to aggravate comparing mind in the Sangha.
At the end of a year, the rakusu is permeated with the sincere practice of the whole community and is returned to its owner in a small return ceremony. Sometimes people will wear in zazen or an intensive the rakusu of someone who is ill or even someone who has died as a way of honoring them. Several of our Sangha members who have died have wanted their rakusus to continue to be part of the community, and they are still there to be worn in their memory.
And in this way, the existential dilemma of supporting the profound practice of sewing Buddha's robe and experiencing the formal jakal ceremony while maintaining harmony in the same sangha was resolved.
The Bodhisattva initiation ceremony. We preserve the traditional form and language of the Jukai ceremony itself. Here is how we introduce it. Welcome to Appamada's formal Bodhisattva intention initiation ceremony, the ceremony of receiving the Buddhist precepts and taking up the way of the Bodhisattva, one who is dedicated to the liberation of all beings from suffering. In Japanese Zen tradition, this ceremony is known as Jukai.
We need to say a few words of introduction here at the beginning of the ceremony. First of all, this ceremony is a tribute to the memory of Blanche Hartman. She instructed, encouraged, and heartened so many followers of the past of profound vow and heartfelt aspiration. Japanese term for the full Buddhist robe is kesa or okesa. Did I pronounce it correctly?
You did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. And this smaller version, originally created in China for travel and work in the fields, is called rakusu. Is that correct?
Rakusu.
Rakusu. Thank you. The practice of sewing Buddha's robe was brought to Japan from China by Eihei Dogen. Oh, good. Founder of the Soto Zen school in the 1200s. It had disappeared from Zen practice for many generations when Sawaki Kodo and Hashimoto Eko revived this ancient tradition in the 1930s and encouraged sincere disciples to engage it. In turn, Eshun Yoshida Roshi came from Japan to teach those at the San Francisco Zen Center this excellent practice. Kasai Yoshin's son then transmitted it to Blanche. At Appamada, sewing Buddha's robe is one of the offerings, as are inquiry, intensives, and classes for those who would like to explore this traditional practice. It is not a special badge or marker of status or role.
Okay, we're back to me.
Let's read the We Vow with All Beings, which is also by Ehe Dogen. It's on the facing page.
Yeah. Shall I start with that?
Yeah.
Okay. We vow with all beings, from this life on throughout countless lives, to hear the true Dharma, that upon hearing it, no doubt will arise in us, nor will we lack in faith that upon meeting it, we shall renounce worldly affairs and maintain the Buddha Dharma, and that in doing so, the great earth and all living beings together will attain the Buddha way. Hey, Dogen. And coming back.
So I'm next. I have a question about the apostrophe for the 1200s and 1930s.
Oh, there's two schools of thought about that. I think this was drawn from the sewing book. This little bit of history was drawn from the sewing book, and that's probably the way they were doing it.
I guess it's a little bit possessive because of the 1920s years or something, maybe. I don't know. Is that the thinking?
I don't know. Because
they're just two different ways of doing it. And again, it's one of those, depends on which of the things you follow. But again, consistency is everything, and you were consistent here.
It has to match.
So
yeah.
The 1200s.
It's the way it was
1930s.
in the sources. Yeah.
Okay.
I think as long as you match them, you're okay.
I was looking that up. So are there many stories? There are many stories. Is that where we are?
Yes.
There are many stories and commentaries on the significance of Buddha's robe. In the Shobogenzo, Dogen wrote, "You should know that a kesa is what all Buddhas respect and take refuge in. It is the Buddha body, the Buddha mind. It is called the clothing of emancipation, the robe of the field of happiness, the robe of no form, the unsurpassable robe, the robe of patience, the Tathagata's robe, the robe of great love and great compassion, the robe as victorious banner, and the robe of supreme penetrating perfect enlightenment. You should indeed receive it with utmost respect."
There is also a famous koan about sewing the robe. When Zen Master Samasu was sewing, Master Zozan asked, pardon?
Tozan.
Zozan, okay. Zozan asked, "What are you doing?" Master Samatsu said, "I'm sewing." Master Zozan said, "How is your sewing?" Master Samatsu said, "In sewing, almost every stitch is the same." Master Zazen said, "Even though we have been traveling together for 20 years, is this all you can say? Doesn't anything else come into it?" Master Tzu said, "What do you think, Akana?" And Akarva. And Master Zozan said, "The whole earth seems to burst into flames."
Did we lose Malen? We have Malen.
Daichi Soke captures the experience of wearing Buddha's robe. I am happy in my kesa. Calmly, I possess the universe. I stay or leave as it wishes. The pure breeze drives the white clouds. And contemporary Zen teacher Shosan Victoria Austin says, "We can discuss the robe as a thing, but the main merit of it is as a practice. It's actually, when we practice, we wear a garment that's not made according to the to the dictates of fashion, but because it was passed down to us, warm and hand to warm hand, generation to generation, from the time to the Buddha until now. That's the function of the clothing for us, and that's the spirit in which we accept and wear it. We do have to treat these clothes with the utmost respect and treat them like the body of practice, because that is what it is for us.
I think there's an extra space before the quote.
Mhm.
You're correct.
For the quote?
At the end.
Yeah,
The ending,
After us.
for us. Okay, hold on. Page here. Oh yeah, that's right. Extra space. Okay.
These good disciples of the Buddha began their journey of sewing Buddha's robe with a study that introduced the history of Buddha's robe, the practice of sewing, and the life of the preset vows. Week after week, they met on Sunday afternoons and with patience, effort stitch by stitch, they completed their work under the guidance of Anne Lipscomb and John Miller. Before I continue, there's a comma there that I don't think should be there. The one after robe and before with. The journey of sewing Buddha's robe with a study that introduced the history. So I don't think that comma needs to be there.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. And then we turn to the formal ceremony and honor the thread of the teachings and Zen ancestors that stitch us together from the Buddha right down to this present moment. Okay, that's a beautiful sentence.
Should I go? I usually would go before Starlet. Ceremonies are a good example of how we foster Sangha level relationality, the understanding of who we are as a community. So here we describe the role of ceremonies at Appamada. About ceremonies, a Dharma talk. I think people may be confused about the differences or relationships among ceremonies, rituals, and forms. And what does all that have to do with vow?
Sorry, I have a comment. I cannot let it go. Sometimes when you name some people, you said this person is from the board or a teacher, and when you named Anne and John, it was not said that they are the teachers for sewing. And
Hold on.
I don't know if that's relevant, but I noticed.
Going back to where we were. So maybe we could put sewing teachers in front of their names. Yeah, there we go.
I
Okay.
would like to make another comment. If whoever is in control of moving up and down, can you place it so we can see the ending of the page above and the beginning of this one, please?
I can't do that. Hold on a second. You mean like this?
Yes,
Okay.
a little bit more. Right there. Okay, so to me, the sentence, and then we turn to the formal ceremony and honor the thread of the teachings and Zen ancestors that stitch us together from the Buddha right down to this present moment. That's a beautiful ending for that whole chapter, scene, or however we want to call it. Then you go into ceremonies are a good example of how we foster Sangha level relationality, the understanding of who we are as a community. So so how we describe the role of ceremonies at Appamada. To me, that's the beginning of the next item that
Right.
should be under about ceremonies, a Dharma talk.
Okay.
Or you could even put about ceremonies above the ceremonies are good example, and then put a Dharma talk above the I.
Okay. Okay. That's fixed. Okay, who's next?
I think it's me, but I've lost where we are now.
Okay, about ceremony at that the start of that about ceremony is a Dharma talk.
Okay, great. About ceremonies, a Dharma talk. I think people may be confused about the differences or relationships among ceremonies, rituals, and forms. And what does all that have to do with vow? Forms are well named. They provide a shape for they provide a shape for practice, but they don't determine what goes into that shape. We will fill them in with who we are. We talk about concrete forms, the scaffolding into which the concrete is poured. But you could pour jello into those forms, or frogs, or whatever you like. They will be held in that space. Of course, not everything can hold that defined space once the forms are removed. This is also true for us in our everyday lives. Do we need a comma after us? This is also true for us in our everyday lives.
Yeah, I want that there.
Okay.
And it's shapes, not space.
What did I? Oh, that
Not being
defines
picky, but that
shape once the forms are
yeah.
removed. Um, thank you.
No, you're welcome.
This is also true for us in our everyday lives. If our vow is strong, we can keep our bodhisattva intention, even when we do not have the forms of the zendo to hold us up.
Here's Alice.
Rituals are practices that enact and carry forward the traditions that connect us back through all the ancestors, all the cultures that Zen has moved through. Each culture has contributed to the rituals associated with Zen. To enact those rituals, bowing, offering incense, chanting, is to recognize our connection with all that has come before us, to create the Dharma to us in our own time and place. We in the West create new rituals that reflect our respect for this practice and its ancestors and teaching. Not every ritual is spiritual, but every ritual conveys some intention and gathers our attention. You may have a ritual cup of tea in the morning, or a ritual warm-up before you run. Baseball pitchers famously have special rituals before pitching. A ritual differs from a habit in this quality of intention and attention.
Ceremony is a transformational ritual. It is a public expression of vow. Through it, we are utterly changed. In a wedding ceremony, two single people become transformed into what we would call not two. That is, both bride and groom and a married couple. It is a fundamental identity shift. In Zen, we have a ceremony that in Japanese tradition is called yuka. In this ceremony, we become transformed in our public vows. In the Japanese tradition, in which Flint and I are both trained participants, receive a new Buddhist name, recognizing the transformation in our identity. Is there an R missing? Flint and I are both trained participants?
How about a comma?
Yeah.
Uh,
There's a
Yeah,
comma.
a comma would work. A comma would work. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's an extra comma before Buddhist name. For Flint and I both trained participants received a new Buddhist name. I don't think the comma between new and Buddhist should be there.
No, it has to be. You're receiving a new name, which is a Buddhist name. So we're not receiving a new Buddhist name. We're receiving a new name that is a Buddhist name. You see the difference? We're not getting a new Buddhist name. Some different. Make sense?
Not really. Could it be Flint and I both trained participants received a new name and then comma Buddhist name,
No,
comma.
no.
Or just receive a new name, a new without a new Buddhist name.
That's the
Just
whole
receive a Buddhist name.
No.
Because do they have an old Buddhist name? No.
No.
So
You're
That's
just
get a
getting
Buddhist name.
That's why the comma is necessary. The comma
Yeah.
is necessary because they don't have an earlier Buddhist name. They have an earlier name, and they receive a new Buddhist name. That's a comma's
Yeah,
necessary.
that's why I'm saying you don't need the word new. They don't have an old Buddhist name. They only have their own name. Now they're receiving a Buddhist name.
But it is a new name.
Okay, so when we use the two commas is an explanatory comma. So, but you need to have something that needs an explanation. And
No,
that what needs,
that's not really an explanatory comma.
oh,
Okay. Well, if you're comfortable with it, that's fine.
okay.
well, I have to say that it's the first Buddhist name that they would receive. So I'm not sure if you just said receive a Buddhist name with Jukai and not have new there.
Yeah, and you can also have first. Is there a possibility? I hate to sound stupid, but is there a possibility of later on, for some other reason, gaining an additional Buddhist
Oh,
name?
yes,
Or
yes.
okay, so first, then you could say first instead of new.
But if you say first, that intimates that there might be a second or a third, and that's not necessarily so.
Not necessarily
But
so.
it's not necessarily not so. You don't know what's going to happen in the future, and it'll always be the first Buddhist name
No,
you've
just leave
gotten,
it.
whether you get
leave
any
it.
more or not.
Just leave it, everybody. Just leave it. Just leave it.
Okay.
Leave it.
But I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay.
One more thing, though, in which Flint and I are both trained participants. I'm still getting that part of it.
I put a comma after after trained.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that works well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Where are we?
Peg, if I may, just for consideration, recognizing the transformation in our identity, Flint and I both trained participants received a new, comma, Buddhist name. For me, that's clear.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
The last part of the sentence, put it at the beginning and leave everything the same. So start the sentence with recognizing. And you put recognizing the transformation in our identity. Flint and I both trained participants received a new, Buddhist name, period.
I'm not going to change that sentence. That sentence is going to stay exactly the way it is right now.
Okay.
Because there's no place for in the Japanese tradition in that reconstruction of the sentence that you're recommending.
Okay.
There's no place for that. Yeah, and that has to be in there.
Peg, could you scroll down a little so we can see the top? We kind of lost the paragraph, I think. Where
Right
Yeah.
here.
There we go. Found it.
We have formally.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at the bottom there.
Who's reading now?
Melissa, did you just read?
I read at some point, yes, recently.
Yes.
Okay, so it's me.
Yeah.
When we ordain, when we ordain as priests, there is another ceremony in which we receive a new Buddhist name, new clothes, robes, and new bowls. And we make public our Bodhisattva vow. In a college graduation ceremony, a student is transformed into an adult. This identity shift may take a while to process, but it is absolute.
That's me, I think, right? Ceremonies are not reversible. In a funeral, a person is transformed once more from corpse to departed being, as we acknowledge the dropping of body and mind in a formal way. We too are transformed by the ceremony of a memorial or a funeral in ways that we could not explain. Where there's no transformation, what you have is a ritual rather than a ceremony.
I like that explanation. Thank you.
Okay.
And sorry, Peg, that I had been going before you.
Oh, no,
I didn't realize I was doing that. I'm sorry.
No worries. Alice is going to take it up
Sure.
now.
Yep.
Oh, no, is it Starlet? It's Starlet.
Yes. Yes.
Then Alice, yeah.
Ceremonies may be formal, structured, and bound by tradition, or they may even be impromptu. Many weddings in the 60s were like this. And recently, my nephew got married by texting his friends to meet him at the lakefront at sunrise the next morning for a makeshift service provided by one of my sister's therapy clients. Then everyone went for waffles. Despite the unconventional format, he still ended up a married man with a wife, part of a couple.
In Zen, the use of ceremonies varies widely. In large temples in Japan, there are many ceremonies, some as elaborate as High Mass at the Vatican. Tibetan Buddhists, too, love rich, ornate ceremonies. Perhaps if you lived in such an austere, challenging, often bleak environment as the Himalayas, you would love the color and music and movement of them, too. Yet in many Zen centers, especially here in the West, ceremonies are minimal or virtually non-existent. I never saw a single ceremony at Choko's Zen Center. Westerners, it seems, have a real antipathy to ceremonies, and particularly to religious ceremonies.
So maybe we should read the facing page.
Okay, I think I'm up now.
Yeah.
Hearing the words, you should understand the source. Up needs to be connected.
I know, it's got an extra space in it, doesn't it?
Okay. Don't make up standards on your own. If you don't understand the path as it meets your eyes, how can you know the way as you walk? Progress is not a matter of far or near, but if you are confused, mountains and rivers block the way. Sekito Kisen.
I understand Joko's wish to create a practice center for contemporary Western practitioners in everyday lives. She stripped away much of the cultural how do you say that?
Accretions.
Accretions to focus cleanly and entirely on zazen, sashins, and dayasan. She wasn't even convinced that a Zen center was a good idea. Of course, she herself had experienced the full-blown Japanese form of Zen training and participated in the full slate of ceremonies at Zen Center Los Angeles, headed up by Mazumi Roshi. She had 9 years in residence there and mastered all the forms, roles, and ceremonies. She just abandoned them when it became obvious that they did not serve her Sangha in San Diego. Without monastic residence, it was almost impossible to train people in the proper ways of doing them.
But in a sense, I think she may have thrown out the baby with the bathwater. Ceremonies have profound, complex qualities and serve many purposes, both in the lives of individuals and in the lives of the community. Without them, the immense of our lives go unrecognized, uncelebrated, unwitnessed, and unappreciated. And a spiritual community can become just a club of interested individuals.
Dimensions of Buddhist ceremonies. Buddha, the expression of Buddha nature, the transformation that more deeply connects and commits us personally and collectively to the Bodhisattva vow. Dharma, the teachings conveyed in the ceremony, the teachings of the precepts, the Bodhisattva vow, and the connection through the teachings to our Zen ancestors. Sangha, ceremonies are very important in the life of the community. They bring us together and celebrate the transformations not only of the celebrant, but our community of practice.
Just going to read this facing page.
You need a period at the end of vow and ancestors, I think.
Oh, right. Hold on a second. Yes. Period. And a period. Yeah. Okay. My Jukai ceremony in 2015 had an unexpected impact on me. I felt immense satisfaction and appreciation at having completed my rakusu. I expected the ceremony to be serious. What I didn't expect was how emotional it was. When the names of the ancestors were read, I felt a deep connection. They were no longer just names. They became living people who had lived their lives on this path so that I might do the same. Stephanie.
And do you want to move completed up and also living people up?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It sometimes happens if you copy from a PDF, so maybe that's what it was.
And maybe even when.
Hold on. Yeah. Here we go. One thing I think is probably not in style. Hold on a second. There we go. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, that's good.
And since she's not a council member, do you still want to put council member? Because that's what she was when she wrote it.
She has been a council member.
Yeah.
So that's the
okay.
That's the thing there. Paragraph. Okay. Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay. I just had to change the style there. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okie dokie. Thanks. Very helpful. Okay, let me move this up a little bit.
Sorry. Ceremonies may be public or they may be private, but they carry the intention and aspiration of participants in a meaningful way. First, they are embodied practices. We enter the space of the ceremony with care. We make vows. We light incense. We move and speak in deliberate, intentional, and formal ways. Such ordinary activities as bowing and lighting incense become meaning making rituals when we enact them in the service of our aspirations. So they are not only embodied, they are aspirationally enacted. They have emergent properties, which is to say that the meanings are not pre-given. For each person, they emerge in the context of the unfolding ceremony from the very beginning, with the first decision to undertake a ceremony. Those meanings are both public and intensely personal.
Ceremonies create non-ordinary states. There is heightened and also numbed sensory awareness, a sense of standing outside of time. If asked a question, the person has to come from a long way to answer it. If it is a complex question, the person may not be able to answer it at all. A simple question, such as, "Are you hungry?" may be unanswerable. Things seem to happen very, very slowly, but also with astonishing speed. Suddenly you are in front of some officiant making some responses to something vast that is wheeling across the cosmos. It doesn't matter if the officiant is the Pope or just your best buddy from college, or whether the ceremony is witnessed by 2 people or thousands.
Ceremonies bring the community together in body, heart, and mind, from the smallest ceremony of the bow when entering the zendo to the most formal ceremonies of Dharma teacher entrustment and Dharma transmission. Our way with ceremonies observes the ancient forms and language, but imbues them with warmth and intimacy. I believe that is in accord with their function and architecture, and it is generally so in other sanghas too. Ceremonies work on many levels. They bring individuals and the community into a larger experience of meaning and purpose, connecting us with the long tradition of Zen and Buddhism, forming a thread connecting us all the way back to the Buddha. That thread is what I hold on to for dear life when we are making the innovations that seem appropriate for this culture and this time. Okay.
A ceremony, no matter how small, joins us with each other in an aspirational way in the service of vow. Zen is in its infancy in America. We are just beginning to understand how we must cultivate our own homegrown Buddhas, our own ceremonies, even when preserving the heart of practice and the teachings that have been generously handed down to us. We have few native formal ceremonies at the moment, and that may change over the next 1,000 years. But what will not change is the commitment to the path of liberation, the practice of sitting meditation, and the warm hand to warm hand method of its transmission.
In my view, ceremonies are very important for the life of the Sangha. They mark significant stages in the Sangha's life and, development. A Sangha has to be very mature to put on a formal ceremony. It takes a lot of hard work, dedicated work, and commitment, and so the Sangha itself is making a statement. Anyone who has participated in the precepts ceremony or the Dharma teacher entrustment ceremony has felt the inexplicable effects of that kind of public affirmation. Ceremonies also make manifest the thread that connects all Buddhist practitioners through time right back to the Buddha himself. The thread is what I hold on to for dear life when we are making the innovations that seem appropriate for this culture and this time.
Did you see the lack of a space in the right above?
Hold on a second. That's a repeated sentence. I'm just removing this. Repetition. Yeah, I'm looking for where that is. Oh, anyone. There it is. Okay. All right. Just repeating myself here. Okay. Where are we at? Then 2 ceremonies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
then two ceremonies give the Sangha the experience of collectively witnessing and sharing the spiritual development and dedication of individuals. For example, from newcomer to precepts, vows to council member to head student, and beyond to Dharma teacher, entrustment, and Dharma transmission. In this way, ceremonies can foster trust and confidence and minimize envy or resentment in the community. The spiritual path becomes defined not merely as an individual quest, but also as a triumph of collective support, recognition, and celebration. It inspires deeper dedication to practice and vow, deeper connections to each other. Ceremonies are moments of heightened aliveness for the whole Sangha, bringing the energy of shared attention and intention into laser focus.
Witness and share the grief of loss in a memorial, the sheer joy of a wedding, the sincerity and devotion of a Jukai ceremony, and in these ways the fabric of community is woven, mended, and strengthened. All of this cannot happen, however, when ceremonies become empty, perfunctory rituals. Like our practice, they reflect our state of mind, our heart, and our intention. Every ceremony, then, is a collective exercise in mindfulness, intimacy, and sincerity. In this way, they are also diagnostic for the health and well-being of a Sangha.
Peg, I really think those 2 paragraphs should belong together because one states the issue and the other one explains why. So there, you can have one without the other. They need one another.
You mean this little paragraph and the one before it?
Yes, the 2 that you have read.
Yeah.
Just consider making them one, leaving it exactly as is. It to me feels complete when they're together, and like they're not complete. Because if somebody reads, all this cannot happen, they will ask, what cannot happen?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Ceremonies are especially important during times of disruption or transition, when a pandemic prevents us from coming together in person, a teacher moves away, or the Sangha itself must move, for example. They provide the thread of connection, commitment, continuity, and care that Sanghas need at such times. They do not need to be elaborate or formal. Simply lighting a stick of incense may do, if attended to in the right spirit.
Okay, so let's read the facing page.
Okay. Can you scooch it over a little to the left? Yeah, thank you. I remember my arrival at Appamada vividly. I was in something of a spiritual drought at the time, although I didn't know that in the moment. All I really knew that day was that there was someone home in the eyes of the people I met. I soaked in my orientation with Todd Bankler and remembered feeling something like a zing of recognition, or maybe it was just awake presence when I made eye contact with Peg for the first time. Later, I heard her tell a similar story about Joko Beck, or it could have been someone else, making eye contact with a teacher for the first time and walking away thinking, what was that? I remember that during that first Dharma talk, the darkness and injustice of the world was held by Peg and the Sangha. This reality had been crushing to hold on my own, and up until this moment, I had been deeply suffering because of that. I remember Peg inviting us to look at the other people in this room who were also fighting for good in the world. It's still emotional for me to recall the relief, connection, and groundedness I found in that moment. Appamada has been and continues to be a beacon of integrity, connection, and aspiration for me. When I arrived at Appamada, Flint had just moved to Hawaii, but I felt the imprint of him on the people I met there. I felt the grief acutely when Peg announced her move to Chicago, and I hope that similarly, people who meet me might know her through the profound imprint she and her teaching have left on me.
Where you have else and then the M dash, there's an extra space. There's a space. Maybe the seventh line on Alex's thing. Someone else.
Yeah, okay.
And then one more thing. I mean, that you have inch marks instead of quotes. What was that?
What?
Rather than quotes,
Oh,
they're inch marks.
yeah, that's done in the application, but I'll change that. Yeah, I just want to make sure that this is in the right style. Sometimes these revert back to a different text style than the text style I've made them have.
By the way, the space, the extra space that Kim is talking about is on line number 8 at the end of line number 8.
Okay, great, thanks. Thanks, yeah. Yeah, I got it. Okay, let me move things up here. Are you, Ed, are you muted?
I was brilliantly not letting anyone hear me read. You
Well
call
done.
it being muted. I got another name.
Well done.
All right. I need practice in unmuting. A practice period is an opportunity to explore a deeper connection and commitment to one's practice. In our tradition, practice periods last 90 days. Historically, this represents the time during the rainy season in India when the roads were impassable and Buddha would gather his disciples for deeper teachings. At Appamada, we generally offer 2 practice periods each year, in the spring and in the fall. It is a time when those who wish to participate make a formal agreement with their teacher about their intentions and practice. It's a good time to experiment with deepening practice by exploring more of our offerings, study, or intensive work with a teacher. During our practice period, there is an expanded set of offerings, and participants consult with the teacher about what commitments are appropriate for their schedules and their aspirations.
So it's 8 o'clock if we want to, do we want to stop there?
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think there's some folks who were here when Alice joined us. And this is Alice bought my nebulous editor for this book. So she's reading ahead of where she's.
I am. I thought you said nebulous editor. I was going to say, what's that? I think I have met everybody before. I think I've seen all these folks in
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. It's great to see you.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Has the Jukai ceremony been planned for this year, for December? For
I'm
January?
waiting for Ann to let me know how ready folks are. So usually I try to see, if there's at least 3 or 4 people who are close to or conceivably can finish. I will be back in Austin in April, and that would be a possibility for a Jukai ceremony if people are ready.
Okay. The reason I asked, I have Flint sent me a message today because he has my Rakusu.
Uh-huh.
And I finished the precepts last year. I did them
Yay.
once on my own, but then once formally last year. So he's got the Rakusu, and being the fact that both of us have had our health challenges,
Yeah.
he was talking about if that's something we wanted to do online, remotely.
Mhm.
But if there was something that was being planned, I would try and hold out for an in-person.
Yeah, I don't think there would be something before April, partly because it has to be done by someone with Dharma transmission. And now Nate has Dharma transmission, but he hasn't ever done a ceremony like this, and I want to walk him through it the first time.
Okay, and Flint might not be available to do it.
My Flint will almost certainly not be available to do it.
Yeah, I was being polite, but yeah, I don't see how that could happen.
So
But is it something in your mind that should be in person versus a Hollywood Square box on a computer?
we've done it both ways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've done it both ways. Yeah, it's just it's the Rux who has to move around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and since he has it, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, well, he would complete the back of it
Hmm.
and send it to you, and then you would have it for the ceremony.
And then I send it back.
Then, because you're remote, you don't necessarily need to send it back to Appamada to circulate, but it's something that you can do if you would like to.
Okay. All right, I'll have some conversation with Flint. We'll put our heads together and see what makes sense.
Yeah, see what makes sense for you. After that year, people then retrieve them. And but if people are going off, for example, like we've had people who are going off to Tassajara to train, and they take theirs with them.
Mm.
Yeah. But every time I go to any other sangha and explain this practice, they're really jealous.
And I was thinking this would be my entree to get myself to the Zendo in Texas.
Well,
And
you
actually,
certainly would be very welcome to do that. Yeah, we'd love to see you there.
okay, well, we'll figure it out then. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. I wanted to say that next week is our last meeting before we are closed for the holiday. And then we'll meet again January 5th. So we'll have a little break.
I can start.
Okay.
I was brought up to believe that we had no need for ceremonies. I didn't go to college or graduate school at graduations, and we got married by a justice of the peace. My family barely celebrated Christmas because it was such a busy time for my parents. I did hear a sermon in high school that we needed to find new ways to celebrate life, but still I didn't do ceremonies until Buddhism. It has been something that I had to recognize as meaningful. Yesterday we had a Rahatsu ceremony. The most powerful part was seeing smoke rise from the chip incense on the charcoal disc. I could have been in ancient India in that moment, and a genie could have appeared in the smoke. It was very moving to celebrate Buddha's enlightenment with others.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll chime in. It was all feeling from this today for me, and thanks, Peg, for that. Getting my feelings stirred up. But I remain, and this is important, the fact that I remain held, seen, and heard through or with ritual and ceremony. Um, and I do value its inherent depth of practice. Also, there's a special enlivening of contact with ceremonies and rituals when they're practiced. And I experience that every time. And it's making that deep connection with someone who lived and died a couple thousand years old, but it makes it present and alive and very much real.
Yeah, it is. It is outside of time.
Mm. And I like chanting in Japanese.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. It's even better with the mokugyo. Anybody else want to chime in?
I didn't really get written what I wanted to write, but I'm wondering if you could, just for a moment, put up that where the sentence is where you define ritual and ceremony.
Oh, hold on a second. Screen share.
Or put, yeah, if we can, because I can't copy from here. If we could copy that and put it in the chat, would be lovely.
Oh, hold on a second. Then I see now what I've done. I quit out of that application altogether. Okay, let me just open it again.
No worries.
Yeah, there we go. See if I can, I'm looking to see if I can find it here. It's where, so tell me again what you're remembering from it.
It was you had a definition of ritual, what the difference was between rituals and ceremony.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's down here. Yeah. Okay, let me make this bigger. Okay, now I can share it and maybe you can see where it is. You can see that?
Let me
I
figure out my.
cannot.
You can't see it?
Oh, now I can. It was buffering.
So it's in this part, right?
It's on the third paragraph, I believe.
Did you see it, Melissa?
I'm reading that third paragraph. That does say what ceremony is, but it does not have the.
Okay, it's
I
maybe.
thought there was a place where it was in, where both of the words were in one sentence.
Melissa, it was the paragraph above the ceremony one.
Think so?
It starts, rituals are practices.
Rituals are practices that enact and carry forward the traditions that came back through the ancestors, all cultures, each culture rule.
I think that's not the one you're remembering, though.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
she's mentioning one where you put the definition for ritual first and then ceremony second.
It was like bullets, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was it
I
like?
can't remember. Yeah, it was because I thought, my gosh, this is exactly what I've always wanted.
uh, let's see. Uh,
Wait, maybe it was the one where it says my. Um, oh, in my view, ceremonies are very important. No. Well, I don't want to take up everybody's time. If if at some point you see it, if you wouldn't mind emailing it to me, that would be great. But otherwise, I'll just have to buy the book and find it.
it's like I need a little bit more to go on, I guess, to find it.
There were 3 bullets for ceremonies for the 3 things.
For
Ah,
Buddha,
Here they are, under dimensions. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Is that what you were referring to? No,
no, I don't think that.
no.
no.
no. But
Although that
there were ones. It was like that, but it was for the 3 ceremonies and the other 2.
Really? Oh, that's news to me.
A list.
A list? I don't think so.
okay, let's see.
Yeah, I remember what you're referencing, Melissa, because it
Oh,
was
good,
very
because I was thinking I'd
beautifully and
lost my mind.
no, it was beautiful and succinctly saying, um, maybe it got erased after everyone got a jolt from it, but yeah, because it did say ceremonies are one thing, rituals are something else, but it showed the connectiveness as well as the
To the
differentiation
two.
between the
I
two.
think
Yeah.
I think I know where it is. Keep going down, please. Keep going down.
Or maybe we all had a Sartori moment and it's gone now.
Keep going down.
Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Ceremony transformations. No. No.
Keep going. Keep going. Okay, so under dimensions of Buddhist ceremonies, under ceremony, keep going down, please. It is a reference there to rituals. Ceremonies may be public or they may be private, but they carry the intention and aspirations of participants in a meaningful way. And it continues to such where it says such ordinary activities as bowing and lighting incense becomes meaning-making rituals when we enact them in the service of our aspirations.
It was a lot more succinct than that.
Yeah,
I
it
know.
actually
Um,
it's one sentence. That's probably why we're having trouble finding it. It's one sentence. It just said a ceremony or a ritual is this, and the difference is this.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Um,
And it had
yeah.
just been there, and I was supposed to grasp it immediately.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think I know which sentence you mean. I'm just not sure where it is.
It's okay. Like I said, if it suddenly reappears, can save it for next time, or we can email it to me.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that it was something that was so. Usually, when that happens and you go back and you look through, it pops out again, but it's not popping out.
So weird.
You get one shot at enlightenment and then it's done.
That's done.
Exactly. That's what it was. I lost it. Have to wait till next time. Oops. I have to hope there is a next time. Well, thank you for looking back. I'm sorry to.
Yeah.
Why were you so interested in it, Melissa?
Because I had never seen a definition that put both side by side. This is what a ceremony is, and
Mhm.
this is what a ritual is, and the reason for each. And it just caught my eye, and I thought, oh wow, now I understand um, that they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
A ritual is not a ceremony, and a ceremony is not a ceremony might have ritual in it, but it's not a ritual. It's for a different purpose.
Yeah.
Could it be where they were talking about the funeral and the wedding?
Well, here the ceremony is a transformational ritual. That's good.
Mm.
Right.
There's a form of closure to a ceremony. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I agree with Melissa though. It was beautifully worded and it was had everything right there in it. And I think it really was one sentence. So
Yeah, because I remember, I think I may have read it because I remember saying that's amazing. Thank you.
This sentence that
And
says, where there's no transformation, what you have is a ritual rather than a ceremony.
let's see, where say it again. Ceremonies.
Where there's no transformation, what you have is a ritual rather than a ceremony.
Yeah, that could be it. The
mm,
transformation, I remember that. Yes, that's it. Ceremonies are not, and ceremonies are not reversible.
Uh-huh.
Where did you find what you were just saying?
It's the end of that paragraph.
Um, where there's no transformation, what you have is a ritual, not
right.
rather than a ceremony. That's it. You found it.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't copy from this screen.
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you. Sorry to have taken up so much time. I just have a real pull to write something about that, and
Yeah, no
then I
problem.
couldn't remember it. Of course.
I've got to get my cursor back.
Thank you, Peg. And thank you, everybody, for being so patient.
Yeah.
Thanks
My
for asking
goodness.
for it to come up again.
Let's see.
Do you want the whole paragraph?
No. Yes, thank you. Now I can copy it right into what I was writing. Oh my goodness.
There.
This has been kind of happening to me all day where things seem to just kind of come and then go.
I know that feeling.
Um, so I have something to share.
Please do.
Yay.
Except I need to go. Peg, I'll make you host.
Oh, it's 8:30. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time.
Yeah, I kind of need to drop off too. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's okay. Make me the host, Kim.
Okay.
I want to hear what Starla wrote.
And I
I do
was
too. I'm
going to
sorry.
ask you if I could talk to you, Kim, once this was finished.
Why don't you email me and we'll find a time tomorrow, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, Kim.
Okay.
So this is what I wrote.
Hmm.
Ceremonies, rituals, and a piece of clothing. It reminds me of a rosary. Not the same, not unlike. A rosary can be passed down, lent, gifted. The ritualistic movement of the beads to the rhythm of the community prayers. A rakusu shared by all in meditation, ritual, and ceremony, chanting together. A rakusu, a symbol from the past to the present, a symbol of a community and personal transformation, a ceremony into the future.
That's so lovely.
Oh,
Mm.
thank you. Thank you, Starlet.
Yeah, beautiful.
I thought it was beautiful what you wrote, and it just reminded me, reading with the rosary, and to me, it's very similar
Hmm.
because a rosary, you can pray it by yourself, but you also can pray it in community. And the first time you get a rosary, you get it with a ceremony, which is the first communion. So it's a very special thing.
Mhm.
And to me, the rakusu, it really feels just like that. You get it for the first time through a very special ceremony, and then it becomes part of the community. Even though it was made for one person to wear, it is shared through the community. I think it's beautiful.
You know that in Buddhism, we also have the mala, which is very like a rosary and has the same origins in India as the rosary has. They come from
Oh,
the same,
really?
yes. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
those are mala beads, and they're like a rosary.
yeah.
Nice.
Often they're like 108. So they're sometimes worn around your neck, sometimes wrapped around your wrist multiple times. But they have the exact same origin. And I was very interested in mullahs for a long time, and I was so surprised. I thought this is so like a rosary, and then I discovered there's a reason for that.
How do you spell it?
Mala, M-A-L-A.
Thank you.
You can look it up. You can have one custom made with stones that you prefer, or with beads, or sometimes with wood, uh, or lotus seeds. They sometimes make malas with
Mm.
lotus seeds. Yeah.
Oh,
There's a place online, I think it's called dharmashop.com, and they have a very extensive collection or pieces of malas for the wrist as well as the neck.
Yeah.
And they're very well done, all hand done, people in the Himalayas.
so what chants or prayers are used with the mala?
There are different mantras that are used. Om Mani Padme.
Mantras. Okay.
There's different. Yeah. The common one in the Tibetan tradition is Om Mani Padme. And
Say that again, please.
Om Mani
Om,
Padme Om.
Om Mani. Say it again,
Om,
please.
Om Mani Padme Hum.
Yeah.
Om Mani Padme Om.
Yeah. And there's a Jizo mantra, which is Kabi-san ma. Oh, how does it go? Kabi-san ma e soa ka. I forget the rest of it, but I think that might be all of it actually. But it's invoking Jizo, the spirit of Jizo. Yeah.
And the first one, what did it mean?
I don't actually know that there's a transliterated meaning. Mantras are sound. It's the effect of the sound. It's not the effect of some meaning in the words. They don't really make words often. It's the same with the Dharanis. The Dharanis are just transcribed sounds. So there's no real translation for a Dharani.
Oh, that is unique.
But
That
that
ex
sound, when you speak it as well as hear it, it gets into your body and it affects your chakras.
Yeah.
And because the source of so many things that are tangible is energy, which is vibration, it makes that connection.
I that explains one time Melissa and me, we went to a meditation. I think it was on a Wednesday that Kim did, and he used these mantras. It was a beautiful scene, like it was like a lake and the night starry sky, and it was just the sound of the mantra. Obviously, we didn't know what he meant because we don't speak the language, but to me, it was quite an experience to be hearing that while meditating.
Mm.
Well, that's what you get in sesshin sometimes too when you're chanting the names of the ancestors, especially when you have a room full of people and they get in tune and you get the right pronunciation. And that thing is just, your body is just tingling with the vibrations of saying the names. And it's a legal high. It's really, really good.
All right, everybody, I have to go take this dog
Okay.
out.
Bye.
Yes,
Take
Bye.
care,
Thank you.
everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.